Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. I today wanted to speak with you about Wall Street, and I've got a lot of new subscribers that may or may not know what I'm about to say, and so I wanted to go over this. First of all, I've said the people that have been listening to me for a long time already know this, but I'm just, like I said, I've got a lot of new subscribers, and I wanted to make sure everybody understood where I was coming from. I was back in the day, I was a financial advisor for one of the top 3 firms on Wall Street, and so I learned a lot about what the different investment products are, mutual funds, exchange traded funds, and bonds and stocks and the whole thing. And so I have a pretty good understanding of the way that Wall Street thinks and the way that they package things, and part of the reason that I became fascinated with cryptocurrencies and all of this is because my hunch was that this all looked so similar to what happened back with the internet. My hunch was that at some point Wall Street was going to take notice of the cryptocurrency industry, and they would package it the same way that they've packaged stocks and bonds and that type of thing. And that was my ultimate hope, is that would happen. And today's video is really the culmination. I've told a lot of my listeners this before, but this is the culmination of all of my hopes and dreams. Everything that I hoped, the highest hope, is what's going on right now. And you, if you're a holder of XRP, you are one of the people that will benefit more than anybody, maybe in the history of the world, as investments go, because you're an XRP holder. And I'm about to tell you why. This was an article that you're looking at from I think yesterday. Yes. Report: Wall Street interest in crypto hits new high, with trading revenue on the rise. So in other words, Wall Street has been sitting on the sidelines, and they've been watching the Binances of the world make tons of money, and they don't sit on the sidelines for long when they see this type of thing. And that's more or less what this article is about. It says the next big thing, they've charted how cryptocurrencies average daily traded volume over 30 days compares with major traditional segments. In my opinion, at some point, much sooner than you may think, crypto will be right here with the big boys, and it'll dwarf some of these. But anyway, their final quote here in this article, they say the interest from major financial houses is a significant step forward for cryptocurrency. And so these guys are gearing up. They're not. That's not just my opinion. You're seeing it in all of the articles right now. Okay, so I found this article this is from August 1st. But these type of articles are very important, in my opinion, for guys like me to show you, because I don't want you to just take my word for it. Okay, I was a financial advisor. That's fine and good. But this is an article from a guy who just in the last year or two has left a really large hedge fund. He's also an investment guy, and he's left it for crypto. And in this article, he tells you exactly why, and it's exactly the same reasons I've been telling you. It's a no-brainer to the people that are in the industry who have an open mind. But in this article, it's a fortune article, and in this article, he takes you through he said he started following cryptocurrencies back in 2013, and then he said he kind of happened back on it in 2016, and at that time he started really studying the trust. He said these kind of terms were some of the terms he started to become familiar with, open source software and hard forks, all these different terms that we all know from cryptocurrencies. But then, most importantly, when you come down to here, and I'm going to read you what his ultimate conclusion was, and you need to let this sink in really well. He's going to tell you which hedge fund he left, which is a monster hedge fund. But guys like this don't leave hedge funds when they don't smell a ton of money. And he's going to tell you what's fixing to happen. He says, I spent hundreds of hours down that rabbit hole. When I came up for air, I was certain this technology would kick off a revolution. Now, I'm convinced it will be woven into the fabric of our everyday lives to the point where we won't even notice it's there anymore, like the internet itself. Same as that earlier invention, I believe crypto will create trillions of dollars along the way. Already the market for virtual coins is valued at hundreds of billions of dollars, and it's all just getting started. So I left .72 billionaire Stephen A. Cohen's hedge fund in December to continue my investing career, but in a new asset class. A few months later, I partnered with a talented technologist and founded Akagia, I guess that's how you say it, asset management. I saw the opportunity of a lifetime to put my skill set to work. Now we're building a sophisticated world-class institutional-grade crypto asset management firm using investment processes we've found lacking in this nascent field. So here's a guy who left a hedge fund that was traditional finance because he sees what we all see, and he knows that a lot of people are about to get rich. So let's go into this. First, I wanted to stop off at his hedge fund. And the first thing on his hedge fund, I'm going to get rid of these windows as I go so my browser doesn't slow down, which happens from time to time. Stop right there. What do you see when you first come onto his hedge fund? What do you know? His hedge fund has a percentage of Ripple or XRP in his portfolio. So as I go, what I did here, and I did this. I've never done this on my channel, but what I did is I did a simple Google search to illustrate a point. I searched crypto funds because I just wanted to pull a few funds that give you the bigger picture of what is being built behind the scenes right now while you're having the regulations and all this hashed out behind the scenes. First, you see this hedge fund. Okay, this is his hedge fund. He's just told you they invest a percentage of their hedge fund in XRP. So let's go on to the next hedge fund. Down here, this is the Crypto 20. These are just funds that I found from a Google search. This is the Crypto 20 by Invictus. They've got 11.1% of their holdings in XRP. And then they show you all the different holdings they have in their fund. Let's go to another one I found. This is the CAM Crypto 30 Index. It is an open published rules-based index of the top 30 cryptocurrencies by market capitalization. So XRP is in this fund as well. Let's go to the next one. Bitwise. Bitwise, they had 2 or 3 funds, but I just picked this one. The Bitwise 10 Large Cap Crypto Index Fund. Okay, and if you cruise down here, let's get to, this is what makes up their fund. Oh, what do you know? XRP, 7.54% of that fund. Okay, and I want to make a point right here. Look at how much they weight Bitcoin in this fund, 63.24%. I've told many of you before, and I'll tell you at the end of this video, this XRP, at some point, not only on CoinMarketCap is it going to jump over Bitcoin, but in the the percentage that it makes up all of the funds of the world, that's going to go into the #1 slot as well if these people have a half a brain, which I know they all do. XRP at 7.54% in this one. Now, I've shown you this fund before. This was a guy that left Goldman Sachs, and he's allotted 8.1% of Ripple into his fund. Okay, so and now while I'm talking about these funds, I want to get to a specific point about how these work. these funds are all more or less like index funds. These funds, because the SEC has not approved, we all know that the SEC is looking at the approval of some of the first ETFs where they actually invest into physical coins like Bitcoin, or right now they're just trying to get the Bitcoin one approved. Eventually, there will be ETFs where they're putting the physical money into the XRPs and the Bitcoins and all of them. But that's a good thing for you and me because we're here early. Okay, so but I wanted to illustrate this point that these are allotting their percentage into in the XRP. Here's another one, Crypto Global Capital. What do you know? Ripple. They're invested in Ripple as well. Okay, I just wanted to show you a few crypto funds that are these are just funds that are in the works now. Okay, these are, I just showed you 5 or 6. There are going to be literally thousands and thousands, and not just in the United States. There's going to be thousands in Canada and Japan and Australia, all over the world. China is going to have funds, okay? But I'm fixing to illustrate the ultimate point that I want to illustrate. What I did is I went and I looked and found, this is the ProShares. This is an actual stock fund that exists today. This is the ProShares S&P 500 Dividend Aristocrats ETF, okay? This is the makeup of the ETF, and it just shows you some of the stocks that are held in the ETF. Let's just take Clorox as an example. And what I want you to think about before I leave this topic, what I want you to sit here and I want you to really think about. Let's imagine that you owned Clorox stock, okay? And you owned that stock before, not just before they created ETFs, but you owned that stock before they even created Wall Street, okay? Because that's what you own as an XRP holder. You own that Clorox stock, and they haven't even invented mutual funds yet. They haven't invented ETFs yet. They haven't. Wall Street has not even come into the game yet. Imagine the returns that you would have had with Clorox stock if you were presented with the opportunity to own that Clorox stock before all of the money of the world came in and it became accessible to all of the people of the world. That's who you are as an XRP holder. But wait a minute, it's even better than that, and I'm going to get to that, because you have something that Clorox stock never could have. You have a little thing called utility that is new to the world, and that thing is going to make your investment even bigger. Okay, I'm sorry, I got a little bit of a head cold here. I wanted to go through this before I forgot. We've been talking about how the SEC was, a lot of these things went down in the last couple of weeks because the SEC was looking at the Van Eck Solid X Bitcoin ETF. But what they didn't say is there's also a ProShares Bitcoin ETF, but this particular one is not going to invest directly into Bitcoin. What this one will do is it's determined by Bitcoin futures contracts. So for that reason, it may not have the effect in the market that the approval of the Van Eck Solid X. But don't think for a minute that just news that there's an approval by the SEC of anything having to do with Bitcoin couldn't drive this market up the wall. So that's the reason I wanted to mention it. Next, okay, this is where the rubber meets the road. We're seeing a lot of stuff right now having to do with Xrapid. Those of you that aren't familiar, Xrapid is what we've all been waiting for. It is the product that uses XRP that Ripple has created. And what they've been doing, and they announced the 3 trading platforms that are going to help them with the liquidity of Xrapid, Bittrex being the largest. And Bittrex went live yesterday with their XRP USD trading. And this is all for the purposes of making Xrapid more liquid. So What I wanted to talk about here, though, is how it relates to all those ETFs I just showed you. You tell me, Bitcoin is just sitting there. Bitcoin is not going to be used for anything. They will tell you over and over, Bitcoin's going to be a store of value. Well, the reason they say store of value is very simple, and I'm not bashing Bitcoin here. You should own at least one Bitcoin, in my opinion, because Bitcoin is going to benefit from everything I've talked about. But I'm just telling you that in the mid to long run, XRP is going to be bigger than any of them. And it's going to be bigger than any of them because it's been designed to have utility on top of being a store of value. Okay? So just imagine all those ETFs when the switch gets flipped. Do you think they're going to tell their investors, oh yeah, we realize that XRP's got utility, there's money flowing through it that's driving the price of it up like crazy, but we still think it's the smart move to keep the larger percentage of our ETF in Bitcoin? No, that's not going to happen. Once it's demonstrated that money is being run through XRP and thus driving the price up, which it will, just write it down. It will increase the speculation money, and that's the money that's going to come through these ETFs as well as through new exchanges like the New York Stock Exchange, the backed exchange they're creating. All right, moving along. I wanted to mention this also. This is something I saw yesterday. White's Wind, he had created the tip bot. He's a developer. He's a pretty smart guy. I wanted to mention this. He did this little chart. It says, here's a chart of the percentage of XRP holders with their own wallet that will become fiat millionaires at a certain XRP valuation. I am very surprised and pleased with the linear, reasonable percentage and healthy XRP distribution. I apologize, but there's one of those street sweepers that I can hear coming up the road. So if you hear that, that's what that is. But if you look here, it says percentage of XRP account holders becoming millionaire at a certain XRP valuation. $1, $4, $7, $10, and it steps all the way up. I think this is up to $100 here. So 1% and then basically 4% at $100 become millionaires. I thought that chart was pretty cool. Okay, next I wanted to show you this because I went over that yesterday. I went over the Liechtenstein video. I went through Liechtenstein with you, and so today, and am I the only one that these pop-ups drive crazy on some of these sites? Anyway, this is an article that came out after I did my video yesterday. I guess that shows that there's some people that I think that they may be watching my videos. But anyway, they announced that Liechtenstein's Union Bank AG becomes the first licensed bank to launch its own cryptocurrency. This is world changing because what this means is that all the world's banks are going to have to change with it, or they're going to be swallowed up by these other banks. But it's not a coincidence, as I said yesterday, that these things are happening in Liechtenstein, which intentionally has set them up as a financial center of the world. There's one or two more things I wanted to go over having to do with my video yesterday. One other thing. This guy on Ripple he put this on Ripple, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I didn't even think about that. His name is, I like to give people credit so they can get some more followers. His name is @DIEPSANH. So follow him. I haven't even followed him yet. I'm going to follow him since he was good enough to put this on his thing here. So he said that coincidence or sneak peek. He's talking about Liechtenstein and flag, crown, blue and red, known for medieval castles. And he pulled this up as well. So I thought that was pretty cool. I had not even thought about that. But the colors, I mean, they're very similar to the Liechtenstein flag. So maybe this guy knows something. Maybe Bearable Guy actually did know something. And for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, Bearable Guy was a guy that popped up on Reddit and Twitter a few months back, and then he disappeared. But he posted some different puzzle type things, and one of them was a drawing of a castle It was this right here, and he was basically throwing up kind of a puzzle that people would solve, and a lot of people had the theory that he was an insider and knew something about XRP, and his picture had a lot of the very similar colors to this Liechtenstein flag. So anyway, I thought I would mention that just as a point of interest. Next, as long as I'm talking about Bearable Guy, I'm at the end here. As long as I'm talking about Bearable Guy, my store does have a Bearable Guy t-shirt, so if you want to go get a Bearable Guy t-shirt, in the description of all of my videos, you can go to my store and there's a 10% discount, and it's free worldwide shipping as well. Another thing that I wanted to go over, I always go over, and I know a lot of you that have been listening to me for a while, you may already have one, but I'm speaking to anyone who doesn't. After every one of my videos, I go over the Ledger Nano S. The Ledger Nano S is the way for all of us who need a safe way. The safest way to store your digital assets is it's a Ledger Nano S. It's a hard wallet so that you can store your things offline, and you don't have to worry about a hacker stealing your digital assets off of exchanges, because it's happened a lot of times, and so don't be that guy. Also, one other thing, I've had a lot of people asking me about this Wirex payment card, and so I decided I would also add a link. I forgot to mention that you can get the Ledger wallet. There's a link to that in the description of all of my videos. It will take you right to their site, which is the safest way to get it. I also added this Wirex payment card. It just came out. They just added XRP to this card, and so I wanted to tell you briefly what this thing will do, so that you have a good idea. This part of their blog gives you a few bullet points I wanted to let you see. With the Ripple at Wirex, here's what you can do with your new XRP wallet. Easily convert XRP to fiat and spend with your Wirex card. Buy, sell, exchange, and deposit XRP in-app. Link the wallet to your debit or credit card. Exchange 50 supported altcoins with XRP. Exchange between USD, GBP, Euro, BTC, and LTC. Enjoy free crypto transactions between Wirex users. So there's a link to this in the description if you want to go look at that or get one of those cards. Pretty cool. The world's changing right before our eyes. I wanted to also tell you that I am the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for informational purposes only and for entertainment only. And I want you guys to please subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. I've gone over 10,000. I'm approaching 11,000 subscribers now, and I've got some of the nicest people that there are who have really been there with me for a long time, and I really appreciate it. And so hit that subscribe button and the like button, and I will be back. Thank you.